Hello everyone, my name is Jahar Johnson and this is my creative project for my Oppression and Social Injustice class. So for this creative project, I decided to do it over Module 4 on the topic of issue of race and ethnicity in the form of a painting. I chose to do this in a more visual way. That's just a better way that I tend to learn from, and I decided to just explain the concept and my knowledge over racism in the community, going over the textbook chapters as well as the videos attached to this course. Throughout this semester, I've learned so much about oppression, racism, sexism, etc. I've gained so much more knowledge on these topics than I ever before, even with having some firsthand experiences. It made me look at life a little bit differently and how I deal with others who speak negatively towards me or to others in my community. This creative project has shined a light on just an inkling of racism in America that I have brought to life a little bit here. On the bottom, I have a depiction of police brutality. It is known that police still kill African Americans at a higher rate than any other group, according to the NBC News. Also, according to the NBC News, there was a data collected by the Washington Post that pretty much stated police shot and killed over at least 1,055 people nationwide last year. The most since newspapers have begun tracking fatal shootings by officers in 2015. It is also stated in the NBC News article that Black people, who are accounted for 13% of the U.S. population, accounted for 27% of those fatally shot and killed by police in 2021. And lastly, as stated in the NBC News article, the system was not built to protect Black people. And then this just has the gun, the crime scene tape, the police badge with the anti-Black symbol on it, and just the road of the outline of a deceased person and a car that was assumingly pulled over and shot and killed the person that was in the vehicle. All right, and on the other side, I have here a public housing building, SNAP EBT, the no money symbol. This is just showing a little bit about how Black people are statistically making less money than the average white person. This shows circumstances of some, but not all. It is an absurd notion that all Black people are poor and use government assistance. People that receive government assistance are also blamed for their circumstances and made to feel guilty or lazy for seeking these resources. Often Black people have less availability to seek medical assistance and affordable health care, or even receive the same treatment and medication as a white person. This is also stated in our video of how racism makes us sick, which is a TED Talk that was linked in Module 4, which just basically goes off of what I previously stated and going further into depth on the treatment of Black people when it comes to seeking medical care and how initially racism does make us sick. At the top over here, we have the stereotypes of African Americans. And we just have a piece of chicken, watermelon, off the notion of all Black people eat chicken and watermelon, which is not as difficult to take in. It's just kind of on the annoying side of putting a group of people together and just saying that every single person in this one race is exactly how I perceive them. And then we go into the weed plant attached to the gun and the criminal holding the bag of money. This pretty much stating that all Black people do are smoking and drinking and committing crimes. We are often looked down upon as degenerates and criminals when we are associated with this, which is why I painted. This was also based on the video in Module 4. The Starbucks showed this short film to its employees to teach them about racial bias, where it further talks about how Black people must worry about putting their hands in their pockets or being followed in the store, with the owner hoping that they don't steal anything. It's these various things that set the African American race in a bad light and perpetuates us to like a lower level and more chaotic and lazy race than white people who, yeah. Right, and then the next, I have the job fair, just with the white only in little bitty letters. This just showing white people going inside and people of color on the outside, hoping that somehow they get in. This is just showing just the economy's way of pretty much not hiring African Americans or people of color. We're kind of ruled out of specific jobs or not even thought of in these white corporations. And if we are, it's usually due to meeting some kind of ethnicity requirement that's placed on that establishment, but not for our accomplishments, our drive, our work ethic. This is just a small reflection from the textbook over this chapter of defining racism, where it states that a Money magazine article called Race and Money chronicled the many ways of American economy was hindered by institutional racism, whether one looks at productivity lowered by racial tensions in the workplace, real estate, tax, and so forth and so forth. But this just pretty much states that, with the tax revenue loss and underemployment, communities of color, or the high cost of warehouse human talent in prison, the economic costs of racism are tangible and measurable. That's from the textbook that we have for our class on page 77. But yeah, this is just all surrounding the world, showing that pretty much the world is just surrounded by an endless slew of racism and oppression and different areas in different ways, and it seems to just be everything that surrounds us until somebody or a group of people can stand up and make a difference, and hopefully these things will change.